Happy Saturday, Faith Church. It's a beautiful Saturday, and it's beautiful not just because the weather is so nice and I can hear the birds chirping and I'm sitting on my back patio for breakfast. It's a beautiful day because it's a day off work, right? Let's be honest. But no, seriously, it's a beautiful day because tomorrow we get to gather together and worship God. And that's true all year long, right? Every Saturday should be exciting and beautiful because of the anticipation of meeting with the saints to worship God together. I look forward to that all the time. But let's be honest, this Saturday has a little bit more beauty and excitement and anticipation to it because of the last few months of these kind of this virtual Zoom worship that we've done. And so tomorrow we get to come back together. At least most of us are going to come back together. And so that's exciting. But let's be honest, it's going to be different. Right? The last few months, it's been weird. It's been frustrating. It's just been different. Right? And you know what? It's probably not going to be much different tomorrow. We're going to be together, and that's great. But it's going to be a little bit different. People are going to be wearing masks at church. People are going to be 6 feet apart. We're going to be live streaming the service into some different rooms because we can't fill up the sanctuary. It's going to be different. But you know what's not different? God. God is not different. God hasn't changed over the past few months, right? And that is the reason that we gather. The object of our affection and our attention and our worship has not changed. And that is exciting. And so tomorrow as we gather, we want to focus on the person of God. We want to focus on the one that we are worshiping and gathering to praise. And we want to focus on that. We don't want to be focused on there's a ton of other things we could think about and be worried and distracted about tomorrow. And we want to lay that aside, right? Mike has talked about a couple times about having a Romans 14 perspective or approach to things and having patience and love and forgiveness for one another. And I think that's important. And throughout the scripture, I'm always amazed at is how much it talks about unity and love and service. And in fact, there's even a ton of sort of rebukes and commands against dissension and division and strife and quarrels and even causing those things or participating in those things. And so we certainly want to avoid that stuff. So I'm just asking you to prepare your heart for tomorrow. Things are going to look a little different, but we're still going to worship the same God. So prepare your hearts, right? If you're coming looking to judge people or judge the way we're doing the service, maybe your heart's not right? Because you're going to find something wrong. You're going to find somebody who's not 6 feet away. Or you're going to find somebody who's wearing a mask and you're upset, or they're not wearing a mask and you're upset, or we have too many hand sanitizer bottles, or not enough hand sanitizer bottles. You're going to find something. That's not the point. Look, now, we are open to feedback. And if you have something, if you have suggestions based on the way that we do church tomorrow, or if you've got some concerns that you see, I would ask you to address that to the staff. Bring that to me. I'll be the guy that takes that on. We're totally open to feedback and suggestions about how we do things. But it's different and it's strange. But I would ask you I think by Hebrews 12, right? Let us throw off everything that hinders. Anything that's going to hinder us from worshiping God tomorrow, leave that at home. Leave it at home. Right? And let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. Right? That's what we want to be focused on tomorrow. In fact, a couple of verses I want to read, think about for a moment here is, I think about Isaiah 6. Very beginning of Isaiah 6, right? When in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting upon the throne, high and lifted up, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Guys, back then, back in those times, the length of a king's robe signified the extent of his power, right? Because oftentimes when they would conquer a kingdom, they would add to their robe. Right? And we see here that the Lord's robe filled the temple. That, right, is the greatness of his majesty and his splendor and his kingdom. Filled the temple. And Isaiah's response was woe to me. I am lost. I am unclean, and the people around me are unclean. He says, I'm not even worthy to worship the king. But that's the God that we worship, the one who's the train of his robe fills his glory fills the temple. And we want to be focused on his glory tomorrow, not one another, not all the weird things going on, but on the glory of God. And then I think about Revelation, and there's all kinds of scriptures in Revelation 19 through 21. You've got 4 and 5. All talk about the throne of God and people bowing down before the throne. I want to think briefly about Revelation chapter 5, where we read about Jesus showing up and being able to open the scroll because nobody else is worthy. Only he is worthy. And then we pick up around verse 11 of Revelation 5. It says, I looked and I heard around the throne, the living creatures and the elders and the angels, myriads, thousands, saying with a loud voice, worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive power and wealth and wisdom and might and honor and glory and blessing. And then I heard every creature in heaven, on earth, and under the earth, and in the sea, and all that is in them, saying to him who sits on the throne, to the Lamb, be blessing and honor and glory and might forever and ever. That's the picture of worship. And that's heaven, but that's what we want to strive for in our own service, is the worship of the King, of the God who is worthy and who is glorious and who is wonderful. Allow that to be our focus tomorrow. Let us leave all that other stuff aside and let us focus on God tomorrow. I can't wait to see you tomorrow, Faith Church. We're doing our best to make that time both safe and worshipful, and we ask you to have gentle and loving hearts that are focused on God, the greatest commandments, right? To love God and to love others. There's no I in church, right? There's no I in church. It's not about you. It's about God. So let's respect and love one another. But most of all, let's honor and glorify the King of all kings, the name above all names, our wonderful, mighty, precious Redeemer. Allow me to close with Psalm 122:1. David said, I rejoiced with those who said to me, let us go to the house of the Lord. I rejoice over going to the house of the Lord with you. I can't wait to see you tomorrow.